Good afternoon, y'all. I am filming this kind of short notice and without a lot of pre-thought in this because, I don't know, I had the thought and I feel like it's a good video idea, so let's go with it. It's really about brooding each kind of chicks. I think I've touched on this before, maybe a little bit, and I think we've also touched on it in on the podcast channel, which all of those are linked below. But the main thing that when you are looking, we're not in the end of the season. This will be going up Monday, and I'm filming this on Saturday, so it's not too far in advance. But we're not out of the season yet. We're still getting some things here and there. You can order a lot online, chick-wise. I did not clarify that. But it's kind of like the breakdown of what to do and where to put things, or what to do with those chicks once you've gotten them. So the basic brooder setup, or not the basic, but the basics that any chick needs: water, food, heat, and bedding. It's kind of the easiest things. Now there are tons of different things to use for bedding. There's different chick feed brands. I'm not going to get into that. I just use the Do More chick food, and that works pretty well for me. Water, I just fill them up with my regular waters and maybe a few extra times throughout the day, depending on. And then, I've gone over this before, I'm pretty sure, and I have a video that I will try to remember to link below. But when you are brooding different things, I feel like these are the things that you need to remember more so when you are brooding different species. So, well, different types of poultry. Sorry, y'all, this is top of my head right here, but first thing is chicks. Those are pretty easy. If you're doing laying chicks, they can stay in the brooder for a lot longer. They're not as messy. They're kind of like even. I mean, it's nothing too hard with keeping those. Then when you get into meat birds, it's a little bit difficult because they are eating more, they are pooping more, which again, I have made a post on this somewhere. I think it was from the Farmyard account, and that's not a bad thing. Like Molly from chickens.org said, if you're using them in tandem with everything, then you have more waste material to be going into your compost, which in turn makes better compost, then better vegetables for you, and then if you feed them to the chickens, better all around. But that is the big thing you need to worry about with meat birds. They do poop more, so you need to be ready for that. You will probably be cleaning out, I'm gonna say, depending on the number, once every other day to keep it clean. I have gone longer than that, and that has been because weather doesn't permit or things like that. But when I'm doing that, it kind of switches into like a deep litter method for like a day or two until I can clean it out again, where I'm just putting fresh pine shavings on top. I use pine shavings. Should have said that before all of this, but I use pine shavings because it's easier on the chicks, and it keeps everything a little bit cleaner. But I just pile them up and then scoop them all out, and they go. I guess the next thing would probably be turkeys, and, well, I've only ever done meat turkeys, so the broad-breasted whites, and they are really, really easy. They're more finicky than anything else, so you need to definitely keep in mind having the heat. You need to make sure that they have access to that all the time, and they need to stay inside a little bit longer. If it's warmer outside, great. How I did mine last year was, and I had my greenhouse frame on last year, the greenhouse cover on last year, we never put it up this year, but I put I'm trying to remember, and I cannot. We put the chicks in, or we put the turkey poults inside at night, and then during the day when the greenhouse cover was on, and it was a little bit, I think it was a little bit sooner last year, so it was a little bit chilly. Not chilly during the day, but it would warm up to like 50, 60, somewhere in there, and it still felt good outside. So I would put them in there, they'd stay in there for the morning, and then if it did get warmer than 60, 70, I would move it to an area where they could get like direct sunlight, but then also be able to move into the shade. So that actually worked really well for them, and they were on grass that time because it was just, I had old boards that I drilled holes in, zip tied together, and then maneuvered them around. But that worked really well for the turkeys, and I did have my ducks in there. The first ducks that I ever got, actually, were in there, and it worked very, very well. The last animal that I have had experience with is the ducks. Whether you're doing meat ducks or laying ducks, whatever, ducks are messy, and this is why I actually am strictly using pine shavings for bedding, because hay is disgusting and it will mold. I was doing that thing every single day, and I went 2 days without doing it, or yeah, every single day I was doing it, so a full day, and then I went 2 days one time, and then I cleaned up because it was raining that day and I couldn't move them outside, and I do have cats, and yeah, I didn't want them flying out anywhere. So I put them in there, or I let it stand there, and it molded. I mean, it wasn't bad, but even a little bit of mold's not good. And also, the other thing is, I mean, I had ducks in there too, and the ducks are the messiest part. And they were in there with the turkeys. I actually lost 2 turkeys because overnight, I guess everybody decided to jump in the little water dish or the little water that I had. It's like the smallest Tractor Supply water that you can get for the chicks. And yeah, we lost 2 turkeys from that, and it was, I never again will I use hay in a brooder. That's just my own personal preference. So, and I think it's a lot of people's actually is using pine shavings over hay. And what I started doing after that, and I'd done some last year, but I didn't think that it was going to be completely necessary, was I put bricks in there and put 2 bricks. I've seen other people use I cannot remember what it was. I think it was like an old baking sheet or something, and they put fencing on top of it, and then all the water would go into there, so you just dump that out, spray it out, and they were done. And that was really easy, really simple. Sorry, all my siblings came around the house, and they decided to play basketball right in front of where I was. So we will be finishing the video up here. I hate filming where everybody can see, but that's fine. When you were brooding, I forget what I was talking about. They put that down, and it was easy, the tray, and it was easier to clean out the waters. I didn't do it. My brooder wasn't all that big, and I think I could fit probably 20 birds comfortably for a little bit in there, and it really did work for what I was doing. Now, the thing to consider when you are raising any of these poultry, ducks are going to grow a lot quicker. I have ducks that are the same age as my oldest turkey, and the ducks outgrew them a long time ago, and now the turkeys are catching up a little bit. And then I have chicks that were from that same age, and they're no bigger than like a 2-week-old turkey. They're really tiny. I'm gonna sneeze, y'all. Let me pause this until well, I might not. It's gonna happen. I know it is. That was a double sneeze, y'all. Yeah, then I'm not getting this on camera, but so when I was brooding them, the ducks outgrew the brooder first, but I actually moved the turkeys out too because I didn't want them together, or I didn't want them to be separated, because my ducks had bonded with them quite well. So they were all moved to a separate They were moved outside, and during the day they could go down to the bottom, they could eat the grass, and then during the day they went up into the top of the coop. The chicks remained inside. The chicks remained inside. And right when I decide to film, I'm telling you, it's always. The chicks remained inside. No, the chicks actually got moved out at the same time. And it was just easier for me to do it like that. So, and the chicks are still in there, but the ducks have had to move because they were accidentally crushing some of the smaller chicks that I'd gotten later. So they had to be moved out with the other ducks, and then the turkeys were moved the other day, or last week sometime. And then, so all the ducks are together in a smaller area. Well, it's a bigger area, but like one of the, if you've seen the area, I'm pretty sure I showed it in the video, the Welsh Harley Quinn video, the last video I did. But those were there. The turkeys got moved over to the other tractor that I had, because I have the other one that I need to actually move my male ducks out, my drakes out of, and put my meat birds in. So then that coop is just layer chicks. I lost 2 chicks because of that, and yeah, that was real sad, because I had such big hopes for all of them. But straying from the topic a little bit here, the ducks will outgrow first, and then the turkeys will outgrow the brooder, and then the chicks will. If you have more, obviously you can move them out sooner, and they can do whatever they're gonna do. And then anything else that you're doing, I don't have experience with anything else. I just know those specific animals. The ducks, it's easier if you get them out on pasture sooner, or out in your yard or somewhere else. Turkeys are, they are naturally curious, so the sooner that you can get those out too, best. Again, it's like that with with any animal. It's better when you can get them out sooner, just because it's what it is. It's easier on all the birds like that. I had something else that I wanted to touch on, but I can't really remember right now. All of mine, I think my ducks they were 5 weeks old before, 6. I think they're 7 weeks old, and they're about full size. The oldest group that I have, the other ones are not that old yet, but they are about full size. And those chicks, who are the exact same age, are very, very, very small. The webbed foot of a duck could step on one and it'd be over for that chick. That's how it is. I've lost chicks to that. I hate it. It's trial and error, and what I'm wanting to do here, as I've always said, is I want to educate you guys before it becomes a problem for you guys. And if you are wanting to try out something, always try it out. Loss is something that is inevitable. You will have loss. It's one of those things that it sucks, it does, but it teaches us things that we didn't know before. And that's with a lot of animals, or even people. It teaches us things. But with animals, I know it's one thing, because if you're brooding them together and then you lose them to a duck stepping on a chick, or the turkeys getting too wet and losing a few of them at night because they couldn't warm up quick enough. It's things like that that you learn, and if I had a bigger brooder, it would have been fine. Or I would have done the pan method. I would have put the water on top of that and then dumped it out. It would have been easier, but I didn't. Every year you're learning, even me doing it for multiple years. I would say probably the first 5 years. I think that's a reasonable number. The first 5 years you're learning. Yeah, you might have one year that it's really great. The next year you might have a really bad year, and that's farming for you. I hate to say it like that, but sometimes some years are better than others, and sometimes you have a couple bad years in a row, or sometimes you have multiple good years in a row and one bad year. You will figure it out. Through all of that, you will figure it out, though. I like brooding my birds together if I can, or like when they're younger, but then they need to get moved out sooner, or you need to clean out the brooder sooner. Like, my ducks are all outside, and they're growing fantastically. I love their development. I love their growth. They're looking fantastic. Turkeys, the same thing there. They're looking great. I had all of this. So it's just, you need to figure out what works for you. Like, okay, before this video gets too long. The video, or no, last year when we did turkeys, I lost none. I had started with 4 and I ended with 4. And it was a good year with birds, or for them. It was a good year for the turkeys last year. It was a good year for me. And this year I've gotten 11 turkeys, or I've gotten more than 11, but I have 11 now, and we've lost, I think, 3 or 4. Like I was saying, we lost 3 or 4 along the way. That's how it is. We also got more because we were accounting for loss, because I knew last year was probably just a fluke. And yeah, some years you have really good years, some years you have bad years, like I said. But I will be showing, I'm trying to do more educational stuff with the birds, and I know I'm not showing a brooder setup right now because I don't have anything in the brooder. It's gonna be the next few, I think it's gonna be, this video is coming out on Monday. I think it's not gonna be the Monday that you're seeing this, because it's 28th, 29th, 30th. The 30th is when this is going out, I'm pretty sure. And then next week, or this Tuesday, the day after this is going up, I have ducks hatching out. Well, lockdown begins then, and then ducks are beginning to hatch out. Hopefully, well, their hatch day is Friday, but then I'll have a brooder set up for you guys, and I'll be able to show you the brooder and things like that. I've already shown you my brooder, but things that I'm learning, and I'm only gonna have ducks in it this time. So it's gonna be a little bit easier. I don't need to worry about anything else. But I also probably need to get them out a lot sooner, and that means me moving around things and things like that. There is going to be, I'm going to give like a little preview for the next little bit if you're this far. Those ducks are hatching out. They'll be coming outside probably at about a week old, if no one's taken them. I'm trying to find them homes, but I don't know how that's going to work out yet. And then some duck content is coming. I'm trying to figure out some things with previously Margot, now Marco and Frenchie. I'm trying to figure out some things for them, and trying to figure out where my duck flock's headed, things like that. I don't want to get rid of my 2 khaki Campbell Drakes, but I might end up getting rid of them. I really, really, really don't want to, but if I have to make room for something else, then alas I must. Alas I must. There's garden content coming in the next week. There has been so many amazing things happening. It's spring, and I have not been the best showing it. I've transplanted things on lives on Instagram. We have potatoes growing in full force, a bunch more potatoes that need to be planted. We also have a rose bush opening. We have the things that we planted are coming up. So there's a lot of new content coming, and I also want to do something with my chicken coop. I want to do a different roosting system. Right now it's just a couple boards that I tied up on the walls of the thing. So I do definitely want to redo that whole thing. The roosting bars in particular, and move some other things around. But that will not be now, or that won't be within the next week, I don't think, but it will definitely be before the end of the summer. So that's in the future. But then we have different garden content coming. We have moving chicks around. We have different things like that, and another duck talk video, which I'm hesitant to say anything about, but I am going to be doing a video like that with Marco and Frenchie. And then we have some other content spread throughout. Duck eggs hatching. I have the broody hen sitting on eggs, which I've mentioned a few times in a few videos, and she's doing well. I candled all 11 eggs that were underneath of her the other day, which was day 10, and everything except for one was fertile. And it was one that I was thinking was fertile because it was a pekin, and so that means that the one black Cayuga egg that was laid, that should be by the blue Swedish male, is fertile. So that's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see these crosses. There will be some pure blue Swedish, and by pure I mean male blue Swedish with female blue Swedish, and then some pekin crosses, some Rowan crosses. If the black Cayuga cross hatches, then a black Cayuga cross as well. But all of that will be covered in many more videos this week. I'm going to try to do maybe shorter videos throughout the whole week, or shorter videos and then maybe one longer video a week. I'm really not sure. This one's already longer than I wanted, but that's kind of a little rundown of what I'm doing. But a lot of exciting news to come, and a lot of exciting news that I want to share with you guys, and a lot of things. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you. Have an amazing week, and I will see you guys in the next one, which will probably be Wednesday. So have a good week, y'all, and as always, stay safe, and yeah, have a good week, and have a good time farming, y'all. I know you do. Bye.